Hey everyone, I'm Summer, and welcome back to my channel where we simplify growth, visibility, and authority for entrepreneurs who don't have the time to chase shiny objects. This is a part of my Teach Me Something playlist. We have real conversations here. I choose experts I really respect, and they break down complex topics into practical frameworks that you can actually use. Today, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood areas in business: lead generation, and how it really works underneath all of it. My guest today is Joe Sayles Jr. He's a lead generation strategist. He's a Google Ads specialist. He's the founder of NV Digital Solutions. Joe has 20 years, more than that. He has more than 20 years of digital marketing experience, and he has managed more than, wait for it, $40 million in ad spend, generating over 100,000 leads and contributing to nine figures in revenue for both Fortune 500 companies and for local businesses. He's also the creator of Lead Generation Made Simple process, and he is also the creator of a concept called Lead Generation Literacy. This focuses on teaching business owners the fundamentals of customer acquisition. So they're not at the mercy of algorithm changes or platform shifts and all that. Joe's mission is very, very simple. He wants to make lead generation understandable and predictable for non savvy business entrepreneurs. Okay, so Joe, I want to start with what I see constantly in the entrepreneurial space. People post, they run ads, they keep tweaking their funnels, yet still keep saying, my marketing is not working. So, from your perspective, what's the biggest mistake that an entrepreneur might make when it comes to lead generation? Not talking about tactical errors, I mean thinking mistakes that sets everything else off track.
The biggest there's two of them. The biggest one I'm going to say is it comes back to, do they have a strategy for lead generation that is aligned completely from goal through tactics? The
Mm,
secondary part of that, or it's probably what I see bigger
mm,
or more well, at least just as frequently, is the fact that they don't understand their target audience well enough to narrow
mm.
down to the individual buyer personas that I would call an ultimate prospect, or that you might hear called an ideal client or ideal
Ideal
customer.
client. Mm,
Yeah. So that's where the biggest area, it really starts in, and this is how I got into this. It comes down to simplifying the process and starting with the end in mind.
mm,
I've always said you start with from the end, and you reverse engineer everything. I used to say, going back to the way when I was a kid, we used to have substitute teachers, and one
mm,
of the things on a substitute day was that the teachers would give us a maze to do while they were waiting for the projector to come to the room. There were
mm,
kids who did the maze incredibly fast, and there were others who didn't do it fast. And what I learned in those days is that those who were going slowly were doing
mm,
it differently than those who were going quickly. The ones who were going slowly were starting at that part of the maze that said start. And that
mhm.
was designed to take them down different rabbit holes, if you will, down different ways, different paths that were not leading to the direct end result, the end,
Wow. Mm,
lest they lucked out.
mm,
Now, by contrast, those who did it quickly ignored the instruction that said start here, and they went to the end. So they started with the end in mind, and they reverse engineered. They went
oh,
backward from the
mm,
end, and that only led them down one path, and it got them straight to the start. And so that's why they would finish earlier. That same concept applies in digital marketing. I've learned that over the years, is that detail right there is the issue that begins to separate your digital marketing strategy and what you're doing from what you've done in the past,
mm,
and from what a lot of other people's you hear what a lot of other people are doing,
mm,
because then it's just a series of steps along the way that you need to follow, and it
mm,
doesn't matter whether you're talking about small businesses or large businesses. I've been a part of a few teams that have gone in the corporate world, and we've
mm,
had to reanalyze the approach, and again take the process and pull it through. And I've just made it simplified for people, for individuals and small business owners to be able to grasp it really quickly. And that's why I call the process lead generation made simple. But the
Mm.
bottom line is you start with the strategy in mind.
Mm.
And if you don't mind, I'll go through the steps real quickly.
Yes, please.
Okay.
You're teaching me something on my podcast, and every single time I interview somebody, I say, "Let's start at the very beginning." If you watch previous episodes, but please do tell me your steps. Let's start from the end, if you like.
Yeah, I do remember that on one of the episodes. In fact, I've seen about three of them.
Hmm.
And it was funny because I remember just taking the moment and saying, wait a second, I don't teach it that way. I say start at the end.
Let's
So I
start at
just
the
remember
end,
I was
Joe.
waiting for this opportunity to be able to say that on here.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah. So the basic the principles of my lead generation made simple process are really, I like to say, it's five pillars, or it starts with one. You have to
Mm.
create a strategy, and that strategy is essentially going to be your customized strategy. It's not a strategy for other people, and you'll start to see why in a second.
Mm.
So then once you started with the end in mind, you've got your goals, you know where you want to go, you'll start making objectives, but you're going to step away from the objectives to go to the next phase for a second. Then you'll come back
Mm.
to the objectives in the end. The
Mm.
second phase of this is you have to understand your business, where it fits into your competitive marketplace.
Right. Yes.
And so that's very crucial. A lot of business owners will miss that particular step.
Mm.
they they've worked in an industry or wherever, and then they decide that they're going to open their own business for whatever reason, however they want to go, and they haven't done a competitive market assessment. And so
Mm.
that means you have to go out there and do two things. You have to understand who your competitors are, what
Right.
they offer, if you can figure it out in some industries, what their pricing's like, and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are.
Mm.
Then you have to do the same thing for yourself. You have to
Mm.
analyze what is your solution? Are people looking for your solution? Where does your solution fit into the competitive marketplace? Where's your pricing fit? How are you marketing it? And you compare it to your competitors. In that process, I use something just to keep it simple again. That's called the SWOT analysis, the
Mm.
strengths and weaknesses that you have in your business inside, and
Mm.
then the opportunities that you have to grow your business in the marketplace, and the
Mm.
threats from your competitors or outside of the marketplace. And
Mm.
if you want to get into detail more, um, if you take the threats, you go into the world of pest. If you've heard that phrase, and that stands for
Like pestle?
yes, like
Just
that, the
pest.
same thing. Yeah. So
Mm. Mm.
I use the short form because it's easier for me to remember. But the
Mm.
what is it? The political environment, the political environmental. Oh gosh, what was that?
Economical.
Economical, and what was the T? Um, technological.
Scientific and technological,
Technological,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. So it's essentially the same concept. And
Mm.
so when you go into threats, you kind of have to analyze those. A lot of years, it doesn't necessarily. A lot of those external factors may not kick in. But if you look
Mm.
at like the years of presidential changes as an example, there can
Mm.
be significant influences on your threats from your external threats. I was just
Yes.
working in the corporate world for a solar power company. After the regime changed over a year ago, then we started seeing a lot of the things that were like they had a lot of rebates and a lot of grants and a lot of things like that in the industry that were pulled when the
Mm.
political changes took effect. These are
Mm-hmm.
factors that are external threats that you want to try to factor in also more than just your local external threats.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, so step one was this strategy. Step two
Mm.
was competitive marketplace.
Mm.
Step three is like perhaps the other part of the biggest mistake I see. I used to make this mistake.
Mm.
Going back, I won't tell you how many years ago, but it was more than a decade, a lot more.
Mm. Mm.
Um, the issue then becomes understanding your market. Your market comes down to, uh, those are the people that are interested, that might be interested in your product, that you might be able to sell your product to. And
Mm.
so I'll say it, and I'm going to break it down real quickly. You have your overall market. And I'm going to use an analogy to do it. The overall market is anybody who could be interested in your product, right? But
Mm-hmm.
your target audience, let's look at it from a music band's perspective. Their target market is everybody who likes their music, but their target audience might be the local concert that they're getting ready to put on. So the
Mm.
people that are in that concert are their audience. And so within that audience, that target audience, there are different types of people that would buy from them. And we call
Mm.
those buyer personas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with your buyer personas, let's just say you're talking about a K-pop band or like one of the boy bands. Let's say a boy band back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. The
Mm.
majority of the audience of the boy band is going to be teenage girls, right?
Girls, yes.
Right. So if that the majority of the audience is going to be that, I'm going to call it 80% for round numbers because we're going to work to our 100%. So 80% of the audience is teenage girls. So
Mm.
who are the other 20% that could be in that audience? Summer,
Teenage boys,
teenage boys.
young boys, yeah, younger generation.
Hmm. Anybody else?
Children?
Good
Hope
guess.
not.
Here, I'll make
Yeah?
it simpler. I'll just keep it
Okay.
real simple.
Mm.
Number one is the teenage girls, 80%. Number
Mm-hmm.
two might be 10% of the audience. It's going to be the moms or the
Oh, moms.
older
Yes, yes,
lady.
yes, yes.
The teenage girls have to have a way to get there. And the older ladies or I won't call them older, but the adult women that could be there. That'd be
Mm.
different than a teenage girl.
Mm.
Number three, you just said boys, so I'm going to go with that. It could
Mm.
be the brothers. So we said 10% is women, the mature women. 5% are probably boys,
Mm.
which could be
Maybe some
brothers,
younger boys that think the band boys are role models.
could be them,
Mm-hmm.
could be the younger brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just call it 5% of the boys. So you hit it,
Mm.
that one good. Here's one you didn't think about. Another
Mm-hmm.
5%. How about the dads that had to take their daughters to the concert
Yeah.
or their children? Hey, I've been one of those taxi dads, so I get it.
Mm.
The concept is that you have four different buyer personas in your audience. Who are you
Mm-hmm.
going to target with your solution? That's the key question is, yes, if you're trying to make a lot of money, you're going to try to target,
The
obviously,
80%.
yeah, you're going to make your sales towards that 80%. But if you want to maximize your sales, you have three other target audiences to market toward. And so just to keep it simple, your product might be, let's just keep it really simple and really old fashioned and generic. 80% of you're selling a pink t-shirt in youth sizes to the teenage girls, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But for the adults, you might need larger sizes, pink. And what you say in your messaging might be slightly different for the moms than it might be for the
Mm.
daughters. So, the daughter's t-shirt might say, I went to so and so concert. The mom's t-shirt might say, I took my daughter to
Took
go
my
see
daughter to the
so and so.
concert. Mm.
Exactly. And then, taking it a step further, the for boys, you have to market a different one. So you might be marketing blue t-shirts. And in the way I would do it, I might market light blue for the dads,
Mm.
and it says, I took my daughter to this concert. And then thinking back to we have two girls and a boy, thinking back to my son and where he was in so many things,
Mm.
his t-shirt might say, my sister went to this concert and I had to go, so this is what I got. So So
Mm.
that takes us through the target audience. Now, so we took the target audience, narrowed it down to buyer personas, and from the buyer personas, we narrowed it down to your marketing, who or your solution. Who are you making your product for? If you're
Mm.
making it, and what I always tell people is it's important, do one at a time
Mm.
because the next step is going to help you see why. Well,
Mm.
I just kind of covered the next step.
Mm.
The product, the coloring, and that sort of thing, it was aligned to one of the buyer personas at a time. So
Yes.
at 80%, if I made the t-shirts, let's just say I made the mom's t-shirts red and the daughter's t-shirts pink.
Mm.
The pink t-shirts, I want the messaging and the pictures and the alignment to go straight across
Mm.
marketing through that. So then my messaging will be, again, I went to this concert and everything else and anything else I want to do in my marketing messaging to that.
Mm.
If I change, so now this changing to the mom, I might use the red and use that color in my messaging, going to the adults and everything else. So and you get the idea. So the colors help separate and help people identify with who the messaging's for and the wording and everything else. That's the crucial part
Mm.
of doing it. So then once you've done the messaging, that helps you to attract them.
Mm.
Then you have to take that messaging and put it where they are. So this is the third concept. The third concept is about going into your messaging and attracting them and bringing them into your brand. And so
Mm.
you do this by going where they are. Now the teenage girls are probably going to be in a slightly different place than their dads
Mm.
online.
Mm.
I'm sure the teenage girls are going to be on TikTok. The boys are probably going to be on TikTok and on gaming apps. I don't
Gaming
think
apps, yes.
the girls will be on gaming apps too, but the boys, the large part of the boys will be on gaming apps more than TikTok or anything else. The girls will be on TikTok more than the gaming apps, but they'll be on gaming apps, different ones, a lot of times.
Mm. Mm.
The moms and dads, where are you going to find them on the internet?
Facebook.
Facebook. Mom's definitely on Facebook.
Mm.
Dad's on Facebook as well. Where are other places you might find moms on the internet?
Moms. Instagram and yeah, I would say Instagram for moms.
There's one more. You going to say and let's see if you have it.
X or Twitter, as it was
Good.
called.
That's a great one. And
Mm.
there's another one that it can be. It can be Pinterest.
Pinterest, yes.
Yes. Dads, you're going to be, although the percentage of people that are dads that are looking at Pinterest, or males, is
Very less.
rising,
Mm.
but men are less. Men
Mm.
are going to be on Facebook too, but they're, not quite as heavy a percentage. Men are often, and both men and women, depending on their roles in life, you can find them on LinkedIn. But you don't really want to go to them with that kind of messaging. It's not although it's
LinkedIn's not
becoming,
for that. Yeah.
yeah, it's becoming more of a casual social platform, but it's not meant to be.
Mm.
And so, then there's also sporting, a lot of sporting events and things. And now it's easier for an individual business to market on what do we call the TV these days? Streamed TV. Because
Mm.
the streaming apps, what you used to have to go through these big companies to advertise on, you don't now.
Like
You can go
Roku.
directly
Mm.
to Roku. You can go
Mm.
directly to
Mm.
to them. Yeah.
Mm.
So this is the process of getting your message to in front of them, knowing
Mm.
where they are. You have to figure out where they are. You have to align your message with your what I call ultimate prospect, or with all the different buyer personas, one
Mm.
at a time. That's where I go with what I call my one rule. That
Mm.
way you plan for one ultimate prospect, let's say the teenage girls, where they are online, TikTok, and then what your message is going to be. And you put that on the technological part of that is the platform.
Mm.
And the platform is TikTok. So we've gone through that. And then the last stage is how you're going to capture them. And seems like I missed a number. I'm out of sequence number wise, or I didn't say something, but that's okay. The last
Mm.
part of them is about capturing the leads, the process of capturing the leads. And
Yes,
so,
that brings us to the main question.
yeah,
What
so
what to do when it comes to capturing leads? So,
exactly.
what should entrepreneurs actually understand about lead generation to make the capturing efforts like successful?
Great question. Yeah, so that comes down to something else that I gave you the general part that a lot of people think about.
Mm.
What I didn't give you is the part that makes lead generation made simple different.
Mm.
And what makes it different is aligning the process and aligning the sequence to where they are in the buyer's journey.
Mm. Mm.
Because there's a lot said for, and you're going to see, like I'm talking about a buyer's journey in a funnel mindset. They do talk about the lead generation or the wheel. And so you have to get them in different places. But no matter what, you have to take somebody through certain stages.
Mm.
And those stages are they become aware of
Mm.
your brand, your offers. The next stage is if they become aware and they find interest, that's great.
Mm.
So then you help them develop their interest, and you can do it in different ways. Then
Mm.
you take them through a point where you help them make a decision
Mm.
whether or not they want to get it. And then the last stage is motivate them to take action. So
Wow.
AIDA is the simple version of the buyer's journey.
Mm.
So a good question from your perspective, I'll help you with is what are the different things you might do at the different levels of the funnel?
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. So awareness can be a lot of different things. Um, I think of an example that I use. There's several different examples that I use, but awareness is when you're talking with somebody. Let me go through some stages, a different process.
Mm.
I like to think of the fact that let's just say you're getting ready to start driving. Okay,
Mm.
you're
Mm.
15 years old. You're with your parents. You're starting to learn about driving, and one of the things you do is you start noticing where things are because you told your kid you have to understand where you are. You have to understand your surroundings. Okay,
Mm.
in doing so, now they're starting to become aware. And let's just say, as they're doing this and they're driving around, they're like, "Hey, I didn't realize that there was let's say they're an athlete, a soccer player. I didn't
Mm.
realize that there was a soccer store right here." Great.
Right.
So now they're aware of the soccer store. So when
Mm.
they have an opportunity, they talk to their parent. Hey, when I know you have to get home today, mom, but tomorrow can we go over to the same route when we're driving and can we stop at the soccer store?
Mm.
Great. So now they go into the soccer store. They're aware of the soccer store. Now they're interested in the soccer store. All the stores they've seen, but they're interested in the soccer store. So
Mm.
now they go in there and they start looking at things, and they're interested in soccer balls, they're interested in sweats, they're interested in whatever, right? So the next thing is they go home and they have a chance to think about it. And guess what? They're ready to start saving money to buy something from that store. Let's say they know they need cleats because they just outgrew their cleats.
Mm.
Mom, I want to go into that store and check the prices of the cleats. So they're now going in there and they're making the decision. They're looking at the types of cleats,
Mm.
they're looking at their needs, they're checking out the size. And from there, they've decided that, you know what, when it comes on sale, I'm getting
I'm
ready
going to
to
buy it.
buy.
Mm. Mm.
Yes.
Taking
So
action.
now they've made the decision, they've decided. So now they are aware, they got interested, they've made the decision. They're waiting for motivation, more motivation to buy. They don't want to buy it full price.
Mm.
So they wait for a promotion. On the day the sale comes out, they're there, they buy, and they're ready to roll. That's the buyer's journey that everybody goes through one way or another, but that's a simple way of seeing the buyer's journey.
Mm.
Along the way, there are different things you offer. If you're a digital marketer, you might have an ad running. You might put social posts out. If
Mm.
someone's never heard of you and then they started seeing your posts, well, now they're becoming aware of you.
Aware. Yeah.
So then the subjects that you have in your posts, some of them they're going to be really interested in, and some of them are going to back off and not be so interested in.
Mm.
The ones that are really interested in, that's when they'll want to ask more. That's when they'll want to listen to more. That's when they'll want to get in more detail and learn. And from there, in that interest stage, um, that's where you might do things like put out videos.
Mm.
That's where you might do things like webinars. Webinars, a fast track that takes you from awareness to
Mm.
interest to the
To
know,
decision to take
like, and
action.
trust
Mm.
that builds your decision. And then from there, they have the opportunity to purchase at the end of a webinar. So the webinar takes you from AID and pulls you into the D range. And so then it's whether there again was what at the end of the webinar, was there anything motivating? And so this is the process of the buyer's journey. And you need to take them through all of those steps to get them motivated. And at the very end, the things that you can do to get
Face
them,
an offer.
yeah, is make different offers, promotion,
Mm.
sales,
Mm.
get this coupon and things of that nature. With that said, I've just given you the whole lead generation made simple process, the way I teach it with the concepts
Mhm.
that I add in 20 minutes or 30
Mm.
minutes or whatever it is.
So you make it very simple when you teach it. But
Yes,
what are you helping people see or do differently so that lead generation becomes a system for them instead of constantly scrambling?
great question. Number one, they go in order. They follow the one rule.
Mm.
Number two, they stop looking at shiny object. When you
Yes.
go back to what your goal is,
Mm.
it might be great to use TikTok for something, but if you were selling, excuse me,
Mm-mm.
um, let's say you're selling, this was kind of funny and it made me choke. Um, let's say you're selling cemetery plots to senior citizens. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to TikTok?
No.
Are you going TikTok to advertise? No.
Hang on. I don't even know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, you're
Church
not going to.
bulletins, maybe.
Yeah, you want to go somewhere else, Facebook or somewhere else.
Mm.
Newspaper ads, things of the nature that target market might be used.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I've lost my going back to the original question you asked me. Sorry, this is the real me. I'm a
Okay.
clown.
I know you are. I think that's why I like you too.
But
I
the
would probably
reality,
go to the church, what do you call it? Church bulletins.
yes, church
Mm.
bulletins are a great one. Again, it all comes down to your audience.
Mm.
What was the original question here? This last question, Summer?
What do you do differently, not just teach differently,
Yeah,
so that it becomes
yeah,
easy for people?
yeah. Basically, simplify it. It goes down to really getting in detail. What are their goals? Who is their audience? And then see what they have. In fact, I'm going through this with two clients right now. See what they have in place as far as their brand messaging.
Mm.
And it's a step-by-step process to align one to the next to the next. This is why we focus on the one rule. One targeted, one ultimate prospect at a time, one set of messaging. So they have to identify their unique value proposition. They have to understand what their mission is. Then
Mm.
they have to understand what are the unique, what is the on that line of that ultimate prospect, what are they trying to accomplish? Are they trying to um, prevent a problem, or are they trying to gain something new? This time of year, a lot of people are trying to lose weight. Okay,
Right.
that's a positive, going a positive way. But
Mm.
sometimes it might be, okay, they were trying to avoid, something like for business owners, they might be losing sleep because they're not getting enough leads on a regular basis. Well, you
Mm.
have to go back and restructure everything. And then, so that's what I do is help them to identify that they have to have a custom strategy. They can't just use
Right.
the generic one, and how
Hmm.
to customize the strategy. That's what I go in and help businesses do. So consulting, with the clients I had in the past, one of the things I learned is clients would leave when I wasn't strong enough in making them understand they need these processes and they need to follow these steps. If they just want to come in and say, Joe, I need you to do Facebook ads.
Mm.
I used to say, okay, great. But nowadays I don't say that as much. Actually, I don't say that. I say, no, let's take a look at your strategy and then guide you through. So that's where I'm working to find a way to get more people to understand. Once you have these basics, then I can help you do any of the marketing you want to get done.
Mm. This is such a grounding conversation. It's being really enlightening, delightful, especially in a place where people are just constantly looking for hacks and they're being sold to must have tactic, do this right now. What you teach and do is like long term strategy. I love that.
Yeah.
And you guys, if you want to understand lead generation at a deeper level and build systems that actually last, go connect with Joe. His links are right below. He has a wonderful podcast that you got to listen to, very insightful conversations. His LinkedIn's in the chat, his website's in the chat. Check out his work, check out his podcast, check out his programs if you're serious about predictable growth. And if you're enjoying these Teach Me Something episodes, make sure you subscribe to this channel because every conversation I have here is designed to help you think smarter, have more confidence, and intentionally grow. Don't be chaotic. I'll see you in the next one.
And come see Summer on Flip Your Marketing Flops.
I'll be there next week. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be there next week.